Good morning. Good morning. It's real rich. Um, sad news. And I'm talking about this because I have children myself, and it's scary thinking about sending your children out to a place where they're supposed to be safe, and these tragic events occur. So I have some up to date news on the situation for those that might not be aware or haven't really been paying attention. I'm not a news person myself, but I've heard enough um, chatter about the situation for me to go look into it myself. And I'm realizing that it's a 14-year-old boy that did this in his school in in Georgia. So I'm gonna show a few different news reports on it, and just put the information out there. I have a few questions in my description that I think needs to be talked about. You know, it's very it's sad, because as parents, this is one of the scariest things you could hear coming from like the school. Like you send your kids out hoping and praying that they'll be safe, and then you get this scary call. Like I'm watching videos of parents abandoning their vehicles like close to a mile away from the school just to get to the school to make sure that their kids are safe. So there are a few videos that I was watching that I think are important. For first and foremost, I'd like to send love and condolences to the families of the victims, anybody was injured or anybody that perished in the situation. There are four victims in the situation. There's one suspect, a 14-year-old kid, and he's a kid, man. I mean, when I was 14 years old, I wasn't thinking about harming my classmates. I didn't want to do anything to anybody that didn't specifically do something to me. And it wasn't to that extreme of taking lives or whatever. I'm a fool. I'm a prankster. So my one up would be I would get you. Like I'll stick you to your chair or something. Whatever happened to that? You know what I mean? Like whatever happened to I don't know, man. It's different now. Access, there's all these firearms. Parents lock up your guns. You know, they have trigger guard locks that will lock the trigger so that it won't be able to be fired. Like you got to take these precautions as parents, man, because now a whole lot of lives are lost in this situation. You have the young man that's going to be in a whole lot of trouble for this situation, and then you have the four innocent people that lost their lives at the school that day. They even have some video footage from inside the school. So I'm gonna keep this short and try to get into this. Let's talk about it.
Christina Irami. They are both math teachers and also students from seeing fellow classmates and also educators shot to then having to climb over and walk past bodies of victims in the hallway and just piles of blood. These students here at this school have just been through a traumatic and violent day today. I can tell you that in the past hour, when law enforcement was giving an update on everything that happened, Governor Brian Kemp was here. He says that this community is going to get any and all resources needed during this time.
When someone preys on kids, it's tragic. Like I said earlier, hate is not going to prevail in our county, and hate's not going to prevail in our state. And pure evil did what happened today. That's all I can tell you. I want to continue to say that.
This hits home for us. Being from Athens, just down the road, Marty and I, having a daughter that taught first grade just a few years ago, this is everybody's worst nightmare.
New details from investigators include confirmation that there's no evidence of additional shooters nor any type of list of schools that have been targeted. This active shooter call came in this morning at around 10:20, and we're told that law enforcement got here in minutes and that a school resource officer engaged the suspect, 14-year-old Colt Gray, whom surrendered and was taken into custody. But
That's crazy. So he did what he did and then surrendered to the police after causing all of this scene and creating this ruckus. Hold on.
14-year-old Colt Gray, whom surrendered and was taken into custody, but not before 4 people were killed and 9 were injured in the shooting. Multiple students told us how the shooting was focused on the J Hall location, which is where a lot of the 9th graders are. The GBI did identify the victims as Richard Aspinwall and Christina Irami. They are both math teachers, and also students Mason Schermerhorn and Christian Angulo. Those are both 14-year-old boys. We did receive these photos from Mason's family that show him at his birthday, blowing out the candles and the cake right there, and also in another one with a loved one. He is making some funny faces in that photo as well. We also spoke with a friend of one of the...
See, now, this is why I don't watch the news, because I'm confused. Because they just showed these kids, and then now she's saying one of them, so this is the teacher, and I think this is the other teacher that was injured or fatally wounded. And these, I don't know if these are the 2 students that were fatally wounded, or one of them is the Colt Gray. Because they're showing 2 guys at 14 birthday parties cutting cakes. I'm going to have to look into this further to find the actual, But that right there was confusing.
From Mason's family that show him at his birthday,
So I'm assuming that this is Mason.
blowing out the candles and the cake right there, and also in another one with a loved one. He is making some funny faces in that photo as well. We also spoke with a friend of one of the other victims, Christian. We are told that he met his longtime pal in middle school.
So I'm getting confirmation that those are the 2 students that were killed, and they don't have any pictures of the shooter.
I was just like, what's going on? And then I checked the family group.
There's another video that I would like to show you guys that's more recent. That is from 9 hours ago. That was the report from 9 hours ago. I'm trying to get the most recent news to you guys. This way you guys can stay informed on what's actually happening, because I don't know if you're like me, but I don't watch the news because they make mistakes and they don't correct them. They just continue forward with more news and they just keep going. The 14-year-old was charged with the crime of shooting up the school, of murder. It's sad. Mental health is real, and he's picked a specific area where he chose to attack. So that means he had a reason to go there. He had a reason to his personal own reasons to go and exact his own justice in that area. And I don't know what's happening today, but when I was growing up, there were a lot less of these. Next to none of these. When it happened, it was like the craziest thing that ever happened. And now it's a couple times a year occurrence. And this is sad because as a parent, this really bothers me. It hasn't happened in the city that I live in yet, but what's stopping it? find this video for you guys. One second. There's a video from 2 hours ago. I can't find it.
Brianna?
Beth, the 14-year-old Colt Gray is accused of opening fire here at Appalachieh High School. He'll be charged with murder, and he has been booked. He will be tried as an adult as well. Now, 11 Alive, we went to his home, which is...
I don't disagree with that. I do not disagree with them charging him as an adult. I don't disagree with any child being charged as an adult when they're out there doing adult shit. Honestly. Because if you're gonna, like, well, I'm from the Caribbean, you know, and my parents my mother used to always say, if you want to act like a man, go out there and be a man. And that always brought me back into a child's place really fast. Because watching and understanding the things and responsibilities that a man has brought me back to enjoying my childhood. So if he's going to be out there, like, this isn't stealing from a corner store or you know, like stealing a toy. This is a A1 felony. You know what I'm saying? These type of things have to be taken seriously, because if they hit him with the whole book, maybe it might deter other children from thinking about doing this. And then another thing is, children don't have the concept of how their life will be destroyed by doing these things. At 14, I did not realize that certain actions could destroy my whole entire life. I never realized that. I never thought about doing one thing and then it just throws me away from society forever. I never thought about that. It didn't occur to me that that was possible. 25 to life was not real to me. It didn't exist until I knew some people that it happened to. And I had to grow up. Years later, I realized, you know, like, hold up, he might never come back, because it's life at the end of that.
About 6 miles away from the high school, and we watched as multiple agencies, they spent hours searching the home. Now we're learning from the FBI that Gray was investigated by the Jackson County Sheriff's Office last year after he allegedly posted photos of guns online threatening to commit a school shooting. Now the Sheriff's
This is the thing that bothers me, because I seen this in a video before that I had watched prior to doing this, is that he made the threat a year ago. With the means, he got the firearms. And it's his parents' fault partially. Any child's action is partially their parents' fault. Because we are in control. We have to be in control. As a parent, we should take control. The children don't run the household. Not even a little bit. What have ever happened to instilling the fear of God in your child? Or instilling the fear of you in your child? We live in a different time, I understand. But if the police are gonna lock me up for disciplining my child, then I'd rather go to jail than them lock my child up for doing some shit like this.
Office interviewed Gray and his father, who said there were guns inside the house, but the teen did not have unsupervised access to those guns.
14-year-old with supervised access to a firearm. That's South America for you. That's America. That's the south part of America. Not like South America, but Southern America. Thank you. Shout out to Letitia.
Letitia_S_3rd IPOF has become a member. It's called School to Prison Pipeline for a reason. Pensive face.
Letitia said it's called school to prison pipeline for a reason, and that's for anyone that has ever been to prison. If you take a look at how prison is set up, it is built, set up, and executed exactly the way schools are. The only difference is you get to go home at 3 o'clock. Yeah, so he has supervised access to a weapon at 14. And he's not thinking about deer and birds, duck. You know what I'm saying? He's thinking about his classmates. That's who he wants to attack. And then making the threat with the photos of the guns. Who took the photos? So you supervised this and allowed him, or maybe you didn't allow him to make the post and make the threats. We have to do better as parents. I can't blame the child, man. He's a child, a 14-year-old child. I know how my mind was at 14. It wouldn't be fair to put all the blame on the 14-year-old, especially when his father is allowing him to play with guns. My mother would never. Not even for no reason. Not even if I was going hunting. You know what I could do? Fish. Get a rod, get a line, throw that shit in the water and bring back some fish. You want something other than fish? Set a trap.
Now, the sheriff's office, they say they did alert local schools for continued monitoring, but there was no probable cause for arrest. Now, neighbors that we spoke to, they say the suspect lived at his home with his dad and his younger siblings. In a neighbor.
Now, I don't think that they should have arrested him, but they should have took the dad's guns. That's my opinion. I believe that taking the dad's guns would have been I don't know. It could have prevented this. Not that it would have, because he could have probably went and got a gun from the neighbor's house. You know, in Atlanta, they break into cars because people leave their weapons in their cars, and they'll break into a car and you liable to come up on a firearm. So it probably would not have stopped it because a determined person could make anything happen, right? But if the guns weren't easily accessible, it could have probably prevented the situation. If you know that there are guns in the house and there are threats being made and you can't arrest the person for the threats, take the weapons away. Take away the means by which the threat was made. Does that make sense? I guess not. It's just something to talk about.
Who lives across the street says she would only see the younger siblings and never knew the teen lived there until yesterday when she saw him waiting for the bus for the first time. Take a listen.
He had on jeans, a dark or black zip-up hoodie with the hood up, and a black backpack. I don't know. I just felt odd. So hours later, this starts unfolding, and then my grandson sends me a picture that's one of the students at APALACHEE snapped of the shooter when he had his gun in his hand. And he said, "Gigi, is this who you saw?" And that was the boy. And that's terrifying.
Definitely terrifying to because you know how I would feel. Because she's like, now in retrospect, she's looking back and she's like, yeah, it didn't look right. But imagine like being in a position where you could have did something to prevent it and not knowing that it was going to happen to prevent it. You know, like, I don't know, man. It would bother me because I saw it. I saw the person right before they did it, you know?
Now, 11 Alive did attempt to speak to his father, but he declined to speak with us. Sending it now over to Liza Lucas, who is live at Grady. Liza?
All right, that will be it for today. I just want to say that everybody, love your loved ones, and make sure you talk to your children, man, and find out if they have any issues or if it's anything bothering them, especially about school, because children could be mean to each other, man. There are questions in my description. Please take time to leave a comment so we can have the discussion. And everybody have a great day.